Safe Harbor ladies. I have created a yoga class that will cover both gentle and a little more rigorous. So it's just one class for today. And we're going to begin in mountain pose. So come to the center of your mat, and you might want your mat to be facing whatever screen you're using, if it's an iPad or whatever, so that we can just turn back and forth when we get to our warriors to the different ends of the mat. So we're going to come into Tadasana and just begin by checking the outer edges of your feet. Are they parallel? It'll look like your toes are a little angled in. Lift the toes and place them back down. Lift the kneecaps, top of the thighs back so that the hip points are over the knees and the knees are over the ankles. And then just like last week, we'll shrug the shoulders up and then squeeze the shoulder blades back to get nice and wide across the collarbones, and then ears over the shoulders. And we're going to begin with stacking the hands over the heart. So right hand over the heart, left hand on top, and close the eyes. And we'll come into a slow and steady Ujjayi breath, coming into this present moment. So inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose with that slight constriction at the back of the throat so that we can hear the exhale. The inhale inflates the belly, the ribs widen, the collarbones lift. Exhale, belly comes in, ribs come in, collarbone lowers. And as you continue your steady breathing, I'll be reading our quote for today. It's Jesus' words to Sister Mary of the Holy Trinity. Again, one of my favorites for encouragement. And I've changed the wording of this quote just slightly because he spoke it about living in a convent community. The pettinesses of communal living are inevitable, but those who love me take no notice of them. Your real home, without boundaries, is my heart. It is your refuge and your cradle. My heart is always open. It is always awaiting you. My heart will give you joy, strength, meekness, love. For I wish you to be joyous and strong, irresistibly loving, and very meek. And take a moment to pause and let those words sink in. Jesus, your heart is our home. We'll be recalling that throughout our yoga practice this morning. So flutter the eyes open, release the hands, and we're going to step the feet just slightly further apart and begin to do that tapping of the kidneys and turning. It may feel very natural to let the heels lift. And we're literally tapping on the kidney area, awakening the adrenals. We're swinging and being very fluid with the arms and legs. Keeping the chin parallel to the floor, gaze lifted, heart uplifted. Checking in with the breath. Is it still slow and steady? Starting to wake up slowly. Hear my ankles cracking. Free chiropractic adjustment. Slight smile. And back to center. Bring the feet back again under the hips, and we're going to do breath of joy because Jesus said in his heart we'll find joy. So you remember that's 3-part inhale where it's 3 sniffs to complete the inhale and then 1 big exhale. So the first sniff goes, then we, and then, so we'll just repeat that. So bouncing a little bit with my knees. Helps me keep track of what I'm doing here. And I like on this last uplift to look up too. When we're swinging down, the knees are bending generously. For joy, strength, meekness, and love. And come back to Tadasana. Hands on the heart. Maybe this time left hand first, right hand on top. Feeling the heart rate elevating just a little bit from that breath of joy. Widening across the collarbones. Recalling that Jesus, your heart is my home. What a wonderful reminder for today and for these times. We can thank him for that. And arms at our side. We're going to do some half sun salutes. You can stay right there in the center of your mat to begin with. So we'll inhale up. Gaze at the thumbs. Exhale, begin to hinge at the waist. Put any amount of bend in the knees you need to get the fingertips to the floor. Crown of the head reaches down. Inhale, come up halfway. Hands can be against the shins. Exhale, bow. And inhale, sweep all the way up. And exhale, palms to the heart. I'm going to move to the top of the rug, the mat, so that you can see a little bit better. So inhale up. Exhale, bow. And each time you might check in with the hamstrings. Do they need a little less bend in the knees? Inhale, come up halfway on fingertips or hands still against the shins. Exhale, bow. And inhale, sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Joy. And inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, bow. Flat back, crown of the head down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and up. Gaze follows and looks at the thumbs. Exhale, hands to the heart. Strength. We find strength in his heart. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, bow. Sighs are always welcome. Inhale up halfway, maybe inner spiral the thighs. Exhale, bow completely. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, palms to the heart. In his heart we'll find meekness. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow. Inhale up halfway. Exhale completely. And inhale, sweep it up. Palms to the heart, joy and love. We find in his heart, we have our little word reminder down here. Joy, strength, meekness, love. Those are going to be our mantras for today. We're going to step back into a warrior one pose. So right foot's forward, left foot's back, left leg is very straight, and you may have to adjust that back foot so that your hips can square to the front. The closer that heel is to the same line as the front heel, the more you're going to feel like you kind of torque your knee when you turn. So get it to where it's comfortable. And we're going to be flowing our warrior bent knee. So on an inhale, that front knee will bend, back leg is straight. And I don't always bring my hands together when I come up. It's kind of nice to leave the lungs open. And then exhale, straighten that front knee, keeping the back knee still straight. And then inhale up. Joy in his heart. And exhale down and straighten. And gaze goes more to the horizon line. Inhale up. Strength. And down. Inhale up. Meekness. And down. And I like Matthew Henry's definition of meekness. It's to be like a blank page under God's pen. Inhale up, bending the knee. And love. And down. And then we're going to step it together. Hands to the heart. Jesus, your heart is my home. Just a moment to pause, close the eyes, and be grateful for that reality. Alrighty, and then we'll step the left leg back, turn, and angle out our left foot, and angle our now back right leg so that our hips can be more square. Again, that front knee is not going to go past the ankle when we reach up. Joy. Exhale down. Strength. Meekness. Keeping that back knee straight and going into the outer edge of the back foot. And love. All found in Jesus' heart. You can come up on those back toes. Step it together, hands on the heart. Jesus, your heart is my home. So we're going to come back around, warrior two this time. So right foot is straight, and now the back arch of the back foot is in line with the heel or heel to heel alignment. So the torso is facing more forward. You can angle the foot in or have it perpendicular to the front, but it never angles back. All right, so here's our warrior, and when we're in warrior two, the knee is tracking to the pinky side of the foot so that we can see the big toe and the first two toes. Torso is rising straight up from between the two legs. We're not leaning forward, not leaning back, more vertical. Remember that little adjustment for the shoulders, the Mamma Mia adjustment. So shoulders are up and then back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then gaze over the middle finger of the front hand. Whew. And then straighten that leg, hands over the heart, joy, back to warrior two. And then switch the cross of the palms, strength. Inhale, exhale, meekness, wherever he leads. Reach and love. Now we're going to come up on the ball of the back foot, step it in. Jesus, your heart is my home. Feel the asymmetry in the legs because we've only done one side of warrior two. Feel the invigoration, which one is kind of falling into shadow. Can't quite feel the other side of us as much because it wasn't doing as much or the same thing as the right side. Now we'll go even that out. So step back with the left, angle the feet, maybe step out. The natural distance is from ankles to wrists. So you may want to go a little further. The closer we get this knee to 90 degrees, the more stable it is. Again, check your heel mid-arch alignment with that back foot. Check that this leg is feeling nice and strong and we're rooting down into the back edge of the foot. And check that you can see the toes and the knee is not going past the ankle. Our little Mamma Mia adjustment. Shoulders lift, squeeze back. Woo! Much more solidity in the shoulder. And then gaze out over that middle finger. There. And exhale. Hands over heart. Joy. Inhale. Strength. meekness. Love, all found in Jesus' heart. Come up on the ball of the back foot, a little bit of balance. Step it in. Close the eyes, Tadasana. Jesus, your heart is my home. And feel the balance in the legs now. So we've done both sides. Now we're going to step out the right leg again. This time we're going to come into Warrior 1 and Warrior 3. So check your front knee, and your back heel should be a little more off to the side so that your hips can be a little more square. And we're going to do Warrior 1 with cactus arms. So arms up on the inhale, arching in the thoracic spine. And then exhale, begin to straighten that front leg, straighten the arms, lift the back foot a little bit. Joy. And then step back long, cactus the arms. Exhale, sweep it up. Maybe have a drishti, some place to fix the gaze. Strength. And exhale. Meekness. And love. And we're going to stay here for a moment. Bring the arms wide. Find a place on the floor to fix the gaze. This is Warrior 3. You might notice a difference in balance. Some heat in that standing ankle. Jesus, your heart is my home. And sweep the arms high, reaching back, and cactus, and step forward, hands to the heart. Feeling the heart rate a little elevated. Moment to pause and be grateful for the good things that Jesus wants us to have. Staying close to him, staying in his heart is our refuge. Step the left leg out. We're going to come to the other side. So left foot is pointing forward. Right foot is angled in, pelvis more square. Cactus the arms, inhale, thoracic spine lifts up, heart lifts, gaze lifts. Counter pose to depression. And then sweep. Find your balance. Joy. Reach back. Inhale and exhale. Sweep it up. Strength. Landing softly and mindfully. And lift. Meekness. Love. And then start to tip and balance. Sometimes it's a little easier when the arms are wide. You just check and see. I like to point my foot. It's not pointed, it's not flexed, it's both. Find a gaze point for the eyes to keep balance. Jesus, your heart is my home. And then step way back. Arms sweep up. Cactus. Whew. Hands to heart. Step it in. Gratitude that his heart is always open, always available, always awaiting us. And step out wide. Come into a wide-legged forward fold. So again, you can check, are your ankles underneath your wrists? And then come to flat back with the hands under the shoulders at first. And just feel like we're giving a stretch to the whole length of the spine. We can even reach our fingertips forward Reach the hips back. Whew. You may notice you will want a slight bend in the knees. Just check and see if that's a little more comfortable. See if your ankles and things are staying strong. If your toes are angled in a little bit. And then bring the hands back under the shoulders. Left hand under the face. Sweep the right arm up on an inhale. Joy. Sweep it down and trade. Strength. Swap them out. Meekness. And love. And sweep it down. And we're going to bring both hands over to the right foot. Joy again. Over to the left. Strength. Over to the right. Meekness. Really turning the chest. Down over to the left. Love. And this time when we come over to the, what are we on? Right? We're going to sweep the arm up. You'll notice the hips come a little bit too, and that's fine. Joy, strength, meekness, love, all to be found in the heart of Jesus. We're going to keep our hands on the floor and begin to heel toe our feet together. When the feet end up under the hips, you can come up with a flat back. And exhale, hands to the heart. Jesus, your heart is my home. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold. Crown of the head really sinking down now. Inhale, up on the fingertips or hands against shins. Exhale, bow. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, palms to the heart. You can widen the feet ever so slightly. I'm going to come to the end of the mat so you can see a little more clearly. And we're going to fold into Uttanasana and interlace the fingers behind the back. If you're having a hard time reaching hand to hand, you can go get a strap and hold on to that. Or even pretend you're holding on to a strap. And then lifting the fist up to open the shoulders. We're going to start to rock, sway, and turn. So I'm bending my left knee and turning the torso toward the right and looking up. And then swaying over, bending the right knee, turning the torso and looking up. Feels very delicious in the shoulders. We're swaying the sacrum, which is always soothing to the nervous system. Slow, steady movement, slow, steady breath. Have a calming effect on the mind. Forward folds do too. You may even want to close the eyes if you can still balance. And come to center. We're going to lower the hands, keep the head down, and widen the feet out. So you'll angle, and we'll come down into a squat. Sometimes after a long time in Uttanasana, it does not feel good to stand right up. So we'll just come into a squat, pressing knees into arms, palms into each other, and then it bounces back so that there's a pressing out and a pressing in. And then in that bandha, feel the spine get nice and long and lifted. If you're having a little hard time with this, I remember some people were like sitting on a block. If your ankles can't come down, maybe a little more of a balance up on your toes, you can fold your mat or roll it kind of under your heels or put those short blocks under there. But we're going to do a little laughing yoga to help us with our joy. So remember, it's inhale through the nose, and then an exhale that's ha, 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 ha. Inhale through the nose again. Inhale. Nice. You can bring your left hand down and off to the left, really pressing that forearm into the knee and lift. Joy. And then hook the inside of that upper arm on the right. Strength. Meekness. Love. And just bonk back down. We're going to do some core work as we're thinking about strength. So come onto the back. Whew. And place the hands on the belly so you can tuck the tailbone so it starts to curve up and the low back is all supported on the floor and connected. And then we're going to bring the arms down to the sides. I even like to kind of tuck the inside edges of my arms underneath my seat and underneath the sides of my waist. And then we'll draw in the left knee and extend the right leg. So this is our exhale. The inhale is the trade-off. The exhale is the hold. Beginning to start to engage that core. Engage the strength that we can find in Christ's heart. His love is stronger than death. I'm getting a little shaky already. Check again, is that low back still on the floor? Is the low belly still hollowed out? And pause, hug it in for a second. Woo. And then we're going to stretch the arms out into a T-shape, palms down. And we're going to bring the thighs so they're perpendicular to the floor and the shins so that they're parallel. And we're going to keep the shoulders pinned to the floor as we exhale and lower the knees off to the right. And inhale, sweep up. And exhale, lower off to the left. You may be able to get your knees all the way down to the ground or not, depending on your shoulder. So really be paying attention to the shoulder as we continue. Joy. Strength. Meekness. Love. One more to the left. Jesus, your heart is my home. Woo. Back to the center, hug it in. Woo. And we'll do a little rock and rolls to come up. So just begin to start to rock back and forth. Your toes may or may not touch on the floor behind you, and that's fine. Just building a little momentum, a little fun as we come up. We're going to come into tabletop. So knees under the hips, hands a little wider so that you can make room for both lungs to breathe freely. Index fingers are straight ahead. And remember our little adjustment with the upper back last week. It was shoulders up towards the ears, then loop back and then get nice and strong and stable through the shoulder girdle before we begin our cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, tailbone first, rounding through the back, head drops, pressing to the floor to get some space between the shoulder blades. And inhale, and exhale, round, inhale, exhale. I love cat-cows. We're going to do a little more strenuous cat-cows next. So come to more neutral. You may want to have your wrists come a little bit forward. There's a little less strain on them when they're a little forward of the shoulder, but the knees always go under the hips. So on our next exhale, we're going to draw the knee to the nose and then swing the leg back. And then exhale, draw knee to the upper right arm and swing back. And exhale, draw it in, touch the elbow of the left arm, swing it back, and touch the nose. Joy. And off to the right, and off to the left, and touching the nose. Strength. To the right, to the left. Meekness. To the right, to the left. And love. Right. And left. And knees as wide as the mat, big toes together, and pull back. Child's pose. Using the forehead to push the skin down towards the brows. Nice time to recall, Jesus, your heart is my home. One more time, really breathing deeply into the back. Turning on that rest and digest, and come up. All right, same thing left side. So we'll bring in the knee to the nose. Joy. Reach back. Left arm, reach back. Right arm, reach back. And center again. Strength. And right. And meekness. And love. And since we did that startup one on the other side, and we want to be balanced, well, one more time, center, left, and right, and knees wide, big toes together, and come back to the child's pose. If you want to drop the elbows to the floor, that can be more relaxing. Or hands around by the feet. Feeling the breath inflate the back, feeling the ribs puff out and touch into the thighs. Big relaxing breaths. As we recall, Jesus, your heart is my home. And one more in table. So hands under shoulders or a little bit in front, index fingers straight ahead. We're going to stretch the right leg back and reach the left arm forward. And we're going to bring elbow to knee as we go into more of a cat stretch. Joy. And exhaling in. Strength. Meekness. Love. All the things we have access to in his heart. Reaching the left leg back, right hand forward like we were shaking someone's hand. So palms facing in. elbow to knee. Joy, strength, meekness, and love. Woo, Jesus, your heart is my home. And we made it to the second side. We're gonna come down to the belly for cobra. And remember last week when we were really working on shoulder alignment, first you let the shoulder heads fall forward, the opposite of what we want, right? Then we shrug the shoulders up to the ears and then squeeze the shoulders back, getting that nice trench in the upper back. Press into the toes, lifting the kneecaps, and on an inhale, pressing the hands come up however high. Joy. Exhale down. Strength. Meekness. And love. And I have a lovely new set of arm openers, thinking of Alyssa all the time with her shoulder. So we're going to do a twist, but from the bottom up instead of top down. I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to stretch the right arm out and tuck the left arm under, palm up. Bring in the right knee so the sole of the foot is on the left leg, and then start to roll out and reach that right arm open. Joy. And then close. Bring that knee down. So this time left arm's out. Sweep and weave the right arm under, bending the left knee. Sweep it open for strength. And close. Change sides. So sweep under the right arm. Right knee bends. Meekness. Sweep down and around. Right arm weaves under the left. Left knee bends. Love. We'll just linger here a second. Doesn't that feel good? And come back. Untangle that. Now we're going to reach the right arm off to the right, left fingertips and a little tripod on the floor, and we're going to start to lift the left side of the body off the floor, bending that left leg, maybe coming onto the toes. And don't let the head collapse. We'll keep the neck in good alignment with the spine. Just get a nice opening in that shoulder. For joy found in Jesus' heart. And turn. Reach out the left arm up on the right fingertips. Right toes behind you. Spine in alignment. Strength. Sweep it in the other direction. Meekness. Reaching out. Love. All found in Jesus' heart that is welcoming and awaiting us. Whew. So, one more thing for strength. We'll come into a Sphinx pose. See that the elbows are wide enough that the lungs can breathe. Then tuck the toes and pop up into a forearm plank, pulling in that low belly. Woo! Jesus, your heart is my home. And then dropping down to the knees and sweeping around for seated Dandasana. So legs out in front. Make those little micro adjustments that allow us to sit up taller. So grab the thigh and inner spiral it. So lifting the outside of the thigh and bringing the inner thigh down. Then any squish that's between you and the floor, And get that out of the way. And then hands by the side, fingertips forward. Collarbones wide, feet flexed, femurs reaching down. Seated Dandasana. Feel the solidity of this pose. And then we're going to bring the hands about 6 to 8 inches behind us, but turning them out 90 degrees. So now the fingertips are facing out. Keeping the heart lifted, begin to bring the elbows towards each other. A nice opening in the chest, lifting the chin, gaze is up, fixing our eyes on Jesus. And coming to his heart for refuge and safety. And come up a little bit. Turn the fingers now so that they're facing back behind you, and then walk and slide the arms behind you. I heard this was called the rack. I think that's pretty funny. But lifting the heart, getting a nice stretch across the shoulders. And just pause here. In Jesus' heart we find joy, strength, meekness, and love. We find our home. And coming back up. And we're going to get ready for Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So we're going to begin to reach and lengthen, get some space between the bottom ribs and the top of the pelvis. So we can breathe. And then both arms up. And begin to fold. We're reaching with the heart. So if the hands come to the outside of the legs, it's the heart reaching forward. And we're hinging just like the book. Closing. Maybe the hands can reach down to the feet, and that can help you see how I'm pulling my heart forward. And then as the heart comes forward, then the head can follow. But it's not head rainbows and heart is pulling back. It's heart pulling forward. Thanking Jesus that his heart is our home. Thanking him for joy, strength, meekness, and love. Pressing the femurs down, staying steady in the breath. And coming up. I'm going to do some Ardha Matsyendrasana. So we'll hug in the right knee till it's completely closed, and then use the interlaced fingers behind the knee to really get tall in the spine, so the crown of the head's reaching up. The left leg isn't falling asleep, it's staying nice and flexed. Then we hop that foot over and hook the left elbow around that right knee, and as you keep the torso lifting tall, you'll feel that outer hip light up. So we're up on the fingertips of the back hand. And as we gaze over the back shoulder, we think joy. Turn and look over the front shoulder, strength. Inhale back, meekness. And forward, love. And switching out. Jesus, your heart is my home. I like to shake it out in the back of my knee. Feels a little funny. Then hug in the left, get super tall. Hop that foot over. Elbow around and turn. Woo! Feel it more in this hip. Gazing back. Joy. Turning just the neck. Strength. Gazing back again, meekness. The whole time the chin is parallel to the floor. And forward, love. And unwind, shake it out. We'll hug in the right leg, hop it over, and tuck the left leg in so that the heel is at the outside of the hip point. We're not sitting on the heel. And then the knee comes to midway up the foot. And again, sitting super tall. We're going to reach the left arm up. And then if you can, hook the elbow to the outside of that thigh and turn. sitting super tall to get that nice opening in the hip. You can have this no hand or this receiving hand, whichever you prefer. Gazing back, joy. Gazing forward, strength. Turning back, breath steady, meekness. And forward, love. And unwind, untangle. Shake out the knees a little bit and hug in the left knee. We'll hop it over and tuck that right leg around. Sitting up super tall. Inhale the right arm up this time. Elbow comes to the outside of the thigh, up on the fingertips of the left hand, sitting super tall. Feel how you wanted to cheat and not go into that hip. Looking back, joy. Looking forward, strength. Back, meekness. Forward, love. And release. Shake it out. Jesus, your heart is my home. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. It can be nice to spread the toes, looks like a little flower, and the arches of the feet make a nice shape there. You can bring the hands behind you to lift the hips up so that we tip the pelvis forward. So the pelvis is a bowl, but we want it tipped this way, open. Then hands on the feet, elbows on the thighs to press them out and away, and then come into Baddha Konasana. Nice deep breath. I'm calling Jesus, your heart is my home. And we're going to take a little restorative now. So you can keep your feet where they are or widen them a little bit. We're just going to come onto the back for Supta Baddha Konasana. Shrug the shoulder blades under, palms up, eyes closed. Hands can be on the belly and the heart. Now read our quotes again. Jesus to Sister Mary of the Holy Trinity. The pettinesses of communal living are inevitable, but those who love me take no notice of them. Your real home, without boundaries, is my heart. It is your refuge and your cradle. My heart is always open. It is always awaiting you. My heart will give you joy, strength, meekness, love. For I wish you to be joyous and strong, irresistibly loving and very meek. And bring the hands under the outside of the thighs and press the knees up. Draw them in towards the chest and give them a hug and begin to rock. And made it to the end. And bring the hands to the heads and the knees and begin to circle. In one direction and then the other. And then big toes together, knees wide. We'll circle away and in, feeling the low back lift and close. Away from the floor, flatten to the floor, and then other direction. Knees going wide and coming together. And then soles of the feet to the floor, hip width apart. There should be an arch in your low back. And bring the top of the right ankle to the top of the left thigh, pulling the ball of the right foot towards you as the heel presses away, really flexing in that foot. If you're already feeling it in your hip, you can just use the right hand to press that thigh away. If you'd like a little more, you can interlace behind the left thigh and press the right elbow into the right thigh. If you want even more, you can rock. See if you can keep an arch in the low back. Jesus, your heart is my home. And then grasp the right ankle with the left hand. Bring the left foot to the floor, and then let that whole leg package fall off to the left and reach the right arm out to the right, palm up, gaze is to the right. And then feel that top hip pulling down and away. Get a little more hip opener. Filling ourselves with His joy, His strength, His meekness, and His love. And center the head, release the foot, lift the legs, and switch them out. So left ankle at the top of the right thigh, flexing and pulling the ball of the foot towards the face and pushing the heel away. You may want to press into the thigh if that's enough of a hip opener, or interlace behind the right, pulling in, keeping an arch in the low back, pressing the left elbow into the left thigh here, and rocking if that feels appropriate and accessible. And then grasping the right hand onto the left ankle, putting the right foot on the floor, and then letting that whole thing fall off to the right, reaching the left arm off to the left, pulling that top hip down and away. Jesus, your heart is my home. Center the head, release the foot, and we're going to go into Shavasana now, so you can stretch the legs out, heels as wide as the mat, feet flopping out, arms about 45 degrees away from the body, palms up, and check in with the low back. Is that going to be comfortable? If it's not, you can bring the soles of the feet to the edges of the mat and let the knees fall in. That little TP shape brings some relief to the low back. Tuck the chin slightly towards the chest so that the forehead is higher than the chin and the back of the neck is long. Find a place for the tongue behind the upper teeth. Close the eyes. And let go. And we'll rest in Shavasana for a few minutes. I have a song for you. Deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Begin to rock the head from side to side, making small movements. Inhale the arms up overhead till the thumbs touch on the floor behind you. Draw the feet together, pointing the toes, and come into a long stretch. I like to hook the thumbs here. Reach the right fingertips and right toes away from each other and squinch a little bit in the left side of the body. Reach left toes and left fingertips away from each other as you squinch a little bit in the right. Couple more of these fishy wiggles. And then draw the knees in towards the chest one at a time and roll to your right side using that bottom arm as a pillow. Use the hands to press on the floor and come up into a comfortable seated position with the eyes closed. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms come together at the heart. Jesus, we thank you so much for saying words of comfort like this to us. The pettinesses of communal living are inevitable, but those who love me take no notice of them. Your real home without boundaries is my heart. It is your refuge and your cradle. My heart is always open. It is always awaiting you. My heart will give you joy, strength, meekness, love. For I wish you to be joyous and strong, irresistibly loving and very meek. Jesus, help us to remember that your heart is our refuge in our home. And may we come to your heart many times throughout this day and always. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you all. I miss you.